anyway, y'all can ask me what you want.
Saw Ramit back out there. I guess he's good to go for.
He looked good. I think he'll be fine, yeah. Talk about Ramik.
Mark, is there, with the numbers at receiver being what they are currently, have you looked at anybody else from another position? Is that?
Well, there's too much to learn. Too much to learn. If you did, you'd be very, very limited, you know. But no, we've not taken anybody from another position to try to play receiver.
Franklin was, he mentioned Rump today on the teleconference. It's a big junior college recruit and everything. How much of an impact, if that's the right word, should people be expecting him to make?
Well, you know, he hadn't played all year. Obviously, he hasn't practiced in a long time, or you know, at least before this week, and he's still getting comfortable with the system. So to think that he'll make a huge impact, it'd be hard to predict that. But you know, hopefully he'll get in the game, and when he gets opportunities, he'll make plays. Like I've said for a lot of years that, you know, our system has very few passes that are just earmarked for one guy. So he's in the game and there's a pass called. He's one of many that might be in a progression, so he could easily get the ball thrown to him as well as anybody else. We'll just have to wait and see.
How problematic is, it'll be 11 o'clock local time, I guess, up there for that game. I assume that means a 6:30 a.m.
Yeah,
wake-up call for those
early.
guys. What's different about playing that early in the day? And I think I've heard you say you prefer to play later.
Well, the pregame meal will be, it's around 7. It's usually 4 hours before kickoff, so you're right. The wake-up call will be 6:30, and it'll be more like 7:30 on our clock, on our biological clocks. But you just got to wake up. You got to wake up and get it going, and you know, pregame warm-up will be important. It'll be nice and cool, from what I understand, and we've got to do a good job of getting warmed up. And you know, we need pulled muscles, and we need guys to be alert and active and ready to go. So that's going to be our jobs as coaches and their responsibility as players to do that.
I remember right, the 2011 game at Ole Miss was like 11:20 or something local time too. Do you recall how we all ever did for that particular game?
Oh, that I mean, it was a battle. I know that. Is that the one where Cox and?
No, it was just a couple years ago when y'all went to Ole Miss. The game was 11:20, I think local time, 2011. The last time y'all was at Ole Miss. Murray was obviously quarterback and everything.
Was he?
Yeah.
And that was in 11?
Yeah.
I forgot that game. Did he win?
Yeah, you won.
I want to say it was 27-13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
I don't remember. The one I remember was
Cox's.
when Cox was playing instead. That's the one that sticks in my brain.
All right.
That thing.
That was 06, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I guess that's a while back. But that game was a war. That game was a war.
You expect a war again this Saturday, I think.
Darn right I do. I mean, there's nothing that I have seen that would make me think it's going to be anything different. Nothing.
Mark, there's been a lot of talk about your offensive injuries. Trey Matthews' absence, I know he wasn't out there when we were out there.
Right.
Has that kind of been appreciated in terms of what he's...
Well, you know, he was a starter, but he was young, and you know, we got other people coming in and playing pretty good in that spot. But obviously, we'd like to have him back and have him playing, and not only defense but some special teams as well. But again, you know, he had the hamstring, played a while, pulled it again. Just got to be careful. It's so hard to know, especially if it's the first time you ever had a hamstring injury, to really know when you're ready to go back. And you really, if you remember back in camp, he had a hamstring, and we were trying to get him in there to go kind of half speed and just at least be back there and see everything from that position standpoint. And he pulled it again there, tweaked it there. And then, obviously, he played a while and pulled it again, so we just got to be careful. I mean, I think we're better when all our guys are healthy, so we certainly would like to have him back.
Coach, I know you said yesterday Shaquille Fluker is going to be redshirted. You read the same thing about Kennard Johnson as well, as far as that?
You know what? More than likely he will be. More than likely he will.
It's, not to, that's gotta be a disappointment. You brought in JUCO players you wouldn't bring in JUCO players if you didn't think there was immediate need. There's been a lot of those guys that haven't been able to
Well,
help you for
part
one
of-
reason or another.
Part of our philosophy this particular year in recruiting, being that it was such a large class, we wanted to get a few junior college guys just to create some separation between the classes. You know, if we signed everybody as a freshman, 33 guys as freshmen, that's a lot of guys in that one class. So by bringing in some junior college players to, create some depth and separation from the rest of the class, that was part of the strategy. This past year, that was a little bit different than other years, so it's not necessarily a disappointment or a shock.
Mays and Johnson. Johnson's definitely a JUCO kid. Mays, JUCO kid, but sophomore eligible. Those are two. I guess those are the JUCOs that have actually come through for them.
Rump was ready to, and still, hopefully, is ready to right now. Jonathan's a junior college guy as well.
The point's moot now, but without all the injuries, might Rump have y'all just tried to save his red shirt this year?
No, I think we were wanting to play Rump. Rump had a good camp, finished good in spring. Our goal was to play him this year when we saw him perform in camp. It just was unfortunate he pulled a muscle, but now hopefully he can make up for it. I remember, Chris Conley's true freshman year, it was somewhere around this time that he started playing and had a heck of a freshman year, made a big impact for us. It's not too late. Anybody else?
Was Gurley able to do much of anything today?
He was out there moving around and changing direction a little bit, catching a couple balls here and there, but not at a tempo that would make you feel like he'll have a chance. I mean, if we played them all, he wouldn't be playing them all, I know that. And his chances, the probability of him even practicing them all, I don't even know on that. So, we're preparing to play without him.
What do you think is the key to this game?
It's always just how well can you execute what you do. Obviously, our turnover ratio is not what it should be. We've lost a couple games where we were -1 and -4. The 2 games we've lost, we need to win that. Third downs on both sides of the ball have not been good enough. Those factors are probably the biggest on my mind right now.
Coach, the running backs caught about half of Murray's passes on Saturday. Is that something you expect to see going forward with the lack of depth at wide receiver, or was that more just Missouri running cover two?
Yeah, that was a big thing. Missouri was a very, they're very committed to zone coverage, whether it was cover 2 or some type of a 3D, but it was pretty much zone coverage, true zone coverage. Some people will call it zone, but if somebody shows up in the area, they'll latch on man-to-man, they'll match man-to-man. They were spot dropping, getting to their places and kind of forcing us to take the check downs. And with the score getting the way it got, they really didn't have to get out of that plan. We were getting close. We got close to maybe making them think a little different, but we never did take the lead. We almost tied it, but they never really had to change that strategy, so they stayed true to it, and that's the reason why a lot of the balls were caught underneath.